If you're winning in the big leagues of Amazon.com and you have sophisticated content, your conversion rate's good, you can probably go launch into those other marketplaces and get that outsized market share. You're not gonna just get like 10% here and 10% there. You might get 10% here, but you might get 40% there or 50% there. And so that could be a significant amount of sales to where maybe it's half the sales that you're making here, even though it's 1/10 the market. All right, so the first thing we need to look at is this type of product, this Tooth Fairy kit. Now, what's interesting is a lot of international people might think it's really weird that kids and parents will save the teeth of the children. It's very common that in America, we have a tradition where we have this made up fairy tale character called the Tooth Fairy. And the Tooth Fairy will go and at night basically leave some kind of money or a prize for the child who went through the trauma of losing a tooth, right? And then the parents can store those teeth and everything for later. Now, this is what the market looks like in the UK. I was surprised when I did the dive that we have a decent amount of sales. It's not crazy, but 10 units a day. The price point's extremely low here. But what are you noticing here? If I go to the deep dive here and I collapse all, it's really the same exact product just over and over again. This one's different because it's like just a teeth storage thing. Maybe this shouldn't even be in the dive, right? And then, these are all the most popular ones, and it's the same product over and over and over again. Very little differentiation. Well, look at what happened in the US market. In the US market, there are different types of fun things that the parents are doing. And you'll notice that the price point is a little bit higher for some of these bundles, which makes the profit better, right? You'll notice that the sales are much higher. So it's a matter of demand, and it's about what the culture calls for. And that was just UK. We can go run a German dive too. I would like to do that and see if it's even a thing there. But if I'm looking at just the UK, the top seller was only selling 10 a day, and this one's selling 30, this one's selling 50, and this one's selling 30, 20, 10. So you have a lot of people selling more. And if we go look at the deep dive, what we're seeing right away is that we've got the same one that's winning over there, a copycat. They don't even have the bag in the bundle that the UK have. It's just a Tooth Fairy box, but it's $8. It's not as bad. And if you sell it with the bag and the other stuff, like it could just fit in the box. You could probably bundle some things that fit in the box. But this one's interesting too. This one's got a bag. It's got a door hang. This way, it's not underneath the pillow of the child. It's got like a little jar that attaches to it, and they've got a bunch of stuff with it. So this is an interesting twist on it, just the door hangs. And then you've got the plush, and the plush has like a pocket to hold the tooth. It's soft so they can sleep with it, and it's just like a little Tooth Fairy plush, and so on. And then you've even got a pillow, and the pillow has a little spot you can hang it. So this one hangs while the child's sleeping. You can see by that, or it lays next to them. Terrible Photoshop on this. And then you've got the little tooth plush that, you see the pouch there on it as well. But look at this one. This one's got a nice bundle to it. It's $19. It's basically the cheap plush. They put a skirt on it, and then they've got some text and some other things. So if we look at what this one has, you can see that it's got the little pocket. It's got like a Tooth Fairy toy and card, like a little wallet, maybe for them to hold their money. And then it's got a tooth toy receipt. So it's something fun to fill out with some memories. And it's got a bunch of those cards that it comes with so that the child can fill it out. You can say how it was lost. You can keep it as a keepsake so you can look back at it later and remember. Because I don't know, how many of you guys remember how you lost all your teeth? It's one of those things that not for everybody, but I don't remember. Like I remember a couple, one or two maybe, especially if it got knocked out playing sports or my dad tied a string to it and slammed the door or something. I remember some of those, but for the most part, I don't really remember. So that's kind of cool. And that kind of sparked an idea, right? So there's a lot more diversity in the US. And that brings us to the point that I was talking about before, where some of these international markets, even though they're smaller, they're a lot less developed. If you're winning in the big leagues of Amazon.com and you have sophisticated content, your conversion rate's good, you can probably go launch into those other marketplaces and get that outsized market share. You're not going to just get like 10% here and 10% there. You might get 10% here, but you might get 40% there or 50% there. And so that could be a significant, amount of sales. Maybe it's half the sales that you're making here, even though it's 1/10 the market. And you have to be thinking along those lines as well. Got a couple more pillows and then another set down here as well. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, you're going to love the masterclasses that we host on a regular basis. We've got over 1,000 members in our private community, and over 400 of them are already doing over $1 million. We regularly host masterclasses with hundreds of students, and you can find out more below. Join us. And so that brought me to the idea. It's like, well, what are the keywords that each of these markets are looking for as well? And what's the difference? So if I go to the master keyword list, that's one thing. And I don't have a lot of outlier keywords, not a ton of keywords, 19, 20,000 search volume. It's not crazy, right? But it's something. So the tooth fairy exists, box, bag, kit, envelopes, gift, letter, pillow, kids. So you do have a lot of different types of products here. Again, making a bundle for the UK, you hit a lot of these, right? You hit the letter, you hit the keepsake, you hit the pillow. And then here in the US, if you go to the master keyword list, much higher demand, 138,000. And if you sort by search volume, you've got tooth fairy, tooth holder, fairy pillow, gifts, door hanger, for kids' teeth, tooth holder, the tooth fairy pillow, pillow holders, pillow kit. And you even got a kit keyword, gift. Gift is cool. And you've got a couple outliers. So if we go look at what the outliers are really quickly, we can see tooth boxes for lost teeth, the tooth box, and the tooth necklace. So this is interesting. And so the necklace was interesting idea as well. And so what I did is when I went and designed this, and I said, okay, well, what do I want to design? And what I did is I designed a kit. Now this is a necklace, and it had the necklace keywords. And what I did is I fed the master keyword list into the GPT that I created, and I prompted it to tell me how to win. And so I wrote this prompt, and it's the foundation of a GPT, a product development GPT that we're going to build. It's going to be an agent that you have within DataDive. Now, if you have ChatGPT, you can kind of mock it up to now, and it'll be good. It's going to be just as good for now. And you could tell the spelling error here. That's going to be like fairy dust. And we've got the tooth box included, and we've got the pillow, and we should probably put a pouch. We've got the door hang, the receipts, we've got a little book. So we included all of these things based on the keywords and demand and what was winning and what the parents want. And you can see the results are pretty clear. We didn't test price points here, and these are like £6, which is like $8, $9. If I were in there at, double the price, but I had this bundle, and there's no one with a bundle like this in the UK, I can imagine that I'm going to have some success, because even polling 30 people from the UK, I didn't do a 50-person poll, but just a small sample size. This is an insane percentage. I mean, 22 out of 30 responded that they would rather have mine, right? It's pretty clear. When you've got a page full of the same crap and it's the same exact just box, now you can start to bring what was working in the US and bring it to another market. And that's really how it works. I'm going to actually go through a new product idea with you too, and we're going to go through that. Now, would I win in the US? Now, here I am here against the two best US sellers, right? And the question is, and I just started this poll, but you can see they do load pretty quickly. And so while these are still loading, you can see here that I'm tied with this one, the pink one, and it might be a preference on color. It's another bundle. The skirt, the crown, looks more like a fairy. Maybe we do a boy fairy, or maybe we can doctor up our thing a little bit. We can find out how to win a little bit better in the US market. But the fact that straight out of ChatGPT with the design, we're pretty much tied with the bestseller, and we're blowing away the second bestseller. So what I can do here though is I can look at the summary. So option C emerged as the clear winner, favored for its premium, visually engaging design, and a gender-neutral appeal. Respondents appreciated its comprehensive set of features, including additional items like a plush tooth and necklace. In contrast, options A and B were perceived as similar to each other, but less distinctive. Across all options, key factors influencing decisions included visual appeal, perceived value, and suitability for children. The survey highlights that a product's ability to stand out through unique design elements significantly impacts consumer preference. And what I love about PickFu is that you get an idea. You can go through and read these different responses. We had a lot more people choose us, just stands out more, and I like the tooth teddy. I find the idea of getting a book for kids to read. This is option C. And so you get really thoughtful answers over there in the UK as well. C is the different option. Is the different option. B and A are the exact same product and arranged differently in the pictures. A and B are also feminine, being all pink and having bows. Yeah, you could see on the bag there. So even the call out here is you got like the pink on the box and the pink on the bows is a thing, right? So maybe you can stand out with even the same product by distinguishing your color. I'm not a big fan of doing something where you just have the same exact product and change maybe just a color. That's very disruptable also. So someone can just see that it's working for you, and next thing you know, you have 10 people copying. So it's not a long-term solution. We want to really disrupt the market with something great like this. It's going to take a lot more development time for someone to piece things together, to write it, to make it more clear, to show that premium branding. It's going to be much better. I agree that the pillow can definitely use some improvement as well.